Ms. Hake, welcome.
Hi.
To Winning the Home Game.
Thank you so much.
Honor to have you here today.
Honor to be here.
Do you remember when we first met?
Yes, I remember the clients.
Okay.
I'm actually going to their wedding
No way.
in a few months.
Really?
Yes.
Gretchen
Yes,
and
Gretchen and Josh.
Yes. Oh, they were the sweetest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, when they connected us, because I already had someone who I had worked with a few times. So whenever you work with a new lender, you're always
You interviewed me. I loved it.
I want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as like the way that we work, you
Right,
know, like
right.
I think expectation setting is so important in the beginning, and
Yes.
that's the best way that we can all
Right.
understand how each other will flow in the transaction. So
And that's what I love about you. You're so detailed.
thank you.
You give such an amazing client experience.
Thank you. I try really hard, if I'm honest.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think part of it comes naturally to you because I think you're like a born teacher also. But your clients they all love you and they're just so thrilled to work with you. I mean, I ask them because I like to know too. But
Yeah,
yes.
keep them on their toes. Keep asking. Give me the secrets, Julie.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we worked, that was 2021 when we first met, and here we are 2025. And you've just grown a lot too, right?
Yeah. It's very different world and market and
Yes.
business for me, for sure.
Right. Okay, so we're going to get into some questions.
All right,
Ready?
lay it on me.
Okay. All right, cool. I love this about you because there's so many things about you. You're not just a broker, right? But you spent around 10 years living across London, Thailand, the Mediterranean, and South Africa
Yes.
before coming back to Seattle.
Yep.
What inspired you to get into real estate once you came back home?
Well, so the reason I was over there, I lived in New York for part of that as well. The reason I was over there was for performance. So I was a performer and I was a hustler. I was working multiple jobs at a time. I needed flexibility. And because my part of our family is based across the world, I thought to myself, well, I need to create a world where I have the opportunity to do that. And not only do I need the flexibility, but also all of our friends are everywhere else as well. And I just thought, what is one thing that I can do that uses my current skills that I already have, people skills, working with people from all different walks of life, from different backgrounds. What can I, and with my emotional intelligence training, I feel like as an actor, that's something that we are so specific about. We are trained to read facial expressions and understand emotions in a very different way. And so I thought, how am I going to use this to not only have some type of financial security, but also to have some flexibility? And truth be told, my mom had gotten into the industry shortly before me, and it just said, you would love this. And I kept saying, there's no way. There's no way. I'm not meant to be a real estate agent. There is no way. And after watching her really be able to start building a life that worked, I ate my words and I got my license, and it has been a roller coaster since.
Did you think that, are you like your mom at all?
I am. We are very similar.
Okay.
I would say she packs more of a punch. And I say that in the best way.
Really? More than you?
Well, she's more concentrated. She's smaller by a lot. So she is a different level of output, and is incredible as a broker. She's here in the Seattle area as well. But yeah, we are very similar, and there are a lot of things that I think when we are working together or when we are approaching a project or a transaction, we set things up very similarly with our clients, and we care at the same level.
I see. You mentioned jobs.
Yes.
In those countries. Like what are some of those jobs that that are helping you today?
Yes. Well, so when I traveled, I was purely a performer. So I performed all over on cruise ships, on international stages, on regional stages. Oh. I had my own one-woman show with an 8-piece orchestra that had a script and, the full 12 songs and all that jazz. And when I was doing that, I would also be I was a choreographer. I did some company management work, so learning to manage people and learning to manage expectations, learning to organize people's schedules. That was all part of that. When I came back here, however, transitioning out of being a performer, I took all of it on. I got my fitness instruction license certification, so I started teaching bar. I started working as a public speaking coach. So I worked with a company that hired actors to be able to work with a lot of the tech companies around here in Seattle. And we would work on their stage presence, their stage fright, nerves, how to convey a more compelling message. And so by the time I started getting my license, I thought, I'm wrapping all of this up in one
What about singing? I know you can sing too.
I can. Yes. Well, that was part of my performing career. I'm what they call a triple threat, if you will.
Yes,
so I
yes.
sing, dance, and act.
I see that.
Yes.
Easily. I love that. I had to mention singing because I heard you sing somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but I was like, wow, that's beautiful. Okay. All right. Now we're going to get into real estate a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there neighborhoods you think are up and coming or underrated right now? And I know your market is, you tend to go greater Seattle, but Seattle proper too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. When I think about this question, I suppose if I'm looking at it for me in a selfish way, one of the areas that I personally don't have a lot of clients focusing on, even though it is right in Seattle, is Madison Valley. It is. They have these old homes. They have a lot more multifamily options there. So for people who are looking for condos, but maybe not right in the city, which I love. However, if I'm looking, your price point's going to be higher there, though. Right. So that's the trick. But the areas that I'm also really in love with for my clients who are thinking about longer term investments are the ones that are along the light rail.
Okay.
And so I have clients now who are looking south all the way along the light rail, all the way along the light rail line, going to Seward Park and further. But then I have clients who are popping up to Northgate, and I think all those areas along that lateral line of Northgate, we already have Loyal Heights and is it Crown Heights that's up there? What am I?
Crown Hill?
Crown Hill, thank you. And Crown Hill. But I think that we're going to see that expansion all across the way. But for me personally, I have a soft spot for Madison Valley because I love the history. I love the old houses. I love that the streets feel kind of tight and that everything is on a hill. So all of these houses are up kind of on these little bluffs and you have these funky staircases to get up. I just love it.
It's close to the water too.
Yeah, easy walk to the water or to Capitol Hill. I love it.
I forgot about that town.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You are absolutely right. Okay. All right. How would you describe the Seattle housing market right now? And are you leaning more towards a buyer's market, seller's market, or somewhere in between? I know it could be different in different pockets, but what are you seeing?
Yes. You are right. It is different depending on the pocket. I feel like we are in realistically more of a balanced market. If you're looking at Seattle as a big picture, I think that there are a lot of opportunities for folks who are okay with purchasing something that might need a little bit of assistance, something that's not an A+++ home. And if you're okay with that, if you're good with that, the power that you have as a buyer is so different. Like that feels like a buyer's market to me. However, if you are looking in the prime pockets, the Ballards of it all, the Queen Anne's of it all, that feels still very similar to me, the way that it did in 2021-ish. A few less offers, but the offers are still incredibly strong. So there's not the same amount of there's just not the same amount of power that you can bring to the table if you are someone who's looking for a deal in those areas.
Many of your clients highlight your patience and follow through in your testimonials, your reviews. How do you build this level of trust, especially when it comes to first-time home buyers who are scared, have anxiety, and rightly so?
Listen, I tell this to all my clients. I get people who are similar to me. That's what I want. I want people to come to me who want a similar experience that I do. I'm an emotional person. I know this experience is emotional. I know there's a lot going into this. And I think for me, I know what I want out of a transaction like this, and I need patience. I don't want to be pushed. If I feel that someone is pushing me or trying to sell me, that's an immediate turn off for me personally. And so that's something I'm really aware of with my clients. Now, that said, I am someone who purchased a home, who got caught up in the excitement of it all. I purchased a home, we moved ourselves down there, and I had this feeling in my head going, is this perfect for me? I can't totally tell, but I know this will be right. I'm sure I'll love it. Well, we moved into this house. It was a historic, gorgeous home. The home itself was immaculate, beautiful, but it did require a lot of work. And it was huge. It was huge. It's just me, my husband, and a dog. So I moved in and we made this decision pretty quickly. And within about 6 to 7 months, I realized that I was not happy living where we were living.
Wow.
And so we I sold that home within a year and we moved back to the area that we really want to be in. I am now probably projecting a little bit onto my clients, if I'm honest, but I am really cautious about pushing people to make a decision, the biggest decision financially that they're going to make, especially if they're first timers. I am very cautious about pushing them in a direction because I know what that feels like to have made that kind of mistake, and I had the ability to change it. But a lot of clients don't have that ability because they don't have a real estate license.
Right. And so when you see that hesitation, you're like, oh.
Yes, it makes me double click. I immediately say, I'm sensing a little bit of hesitation. I want you to know there's always going to be more. You're going to hear a lot of urgency language from the market. Buy now, don't wait. There's a lot of that happening. And I get it. It does make sense. However, the right time to buy will be the right time for you. It is not, you haven't lost anything the way that I think society likes to tell you you've lost it if you haven't jumped on a house.
Right. So does that feel like buyer's remorse that you felt, or did it just feel like this doesn't feel right, the location, or what? Is there anything more specific to that, to your experience?
Yeah, I loved the house. It was more work than truthfully we were willing to take on, and we didn't think about that. But at the end of the day, we moved to a location that's further away from the areas that I enjoy. And so that meant I was spending so much more time in the car, in traffic. And we had our mortgage payment was higher than what our rent ever was. And the home was historic, so it required more work. So I just started balancing and saying, I don't know if the cost, the amount that we are putting in this home is an equal exchange for the amount of enjoyment I'm getting out of the home. And for me, as a young 30-something person at the time, that wasn't worth it. I wanted to be able to aggressively invest in our 401ks. I was a gig worker, so we had some work to do, right? And to me, it wasn't, I didn't have remorse because I knew I could change it. I'm quick. When I know that I'm done with something, I'm moving fast. But it was a lesson we needed to learn. And the lesson was that I have to put on the blinders and not let family, society, the market, other agents get in my head. I needed to listen to my gut, what I knew was right for us.
And I actually admire that because you got in, you're like, this is not right, you got out.
Yes.
And you're probably okay financially.
Oh yeah. We very lucky. I mean, we were very
That's
smart.
not normal.
It is not normal. We were very smart about the updates that we did. And we kept track of all of that. And I was able to list it at right before a little bit of a decline. I saw what was happening with the interest rates in the market, and I listed it quickly. We listed it beautifully, staged it ourselves. It was, thank goodness that I had a real estate license.
Right, exactly, exactly. What do you say to buyers worried about being house poor? You kind of touched on it a little bit already.
I continue to say, I want you to look, and of course I refer them back to you. At the end of the day, I want their finances to make the best sense for them. Because what feels house poor to me might not feel house poor to somebody else. Their values are completely different than mine. So when I sense that that might be happening, I am very, in the beginning, when I talk with clients, I'm asking, what about your lifestyle? What do you like to do? What are the things that you enjoy? What do you want your life to look like? So that if we are getting to a place where I'm looking at what they're sending me, or I'm looking at them considering a home that is way outside the budget we discussed, I will bring that stuff up. Hey, I'm noticing you're looking at a slightly higher price point. This is different than the budget we talked about. I want to double click on this because I want to make sure that we are in alignment with the type of life that you want, and that we're not getting caught up in the urgency of FOMO for not buying a house.
I love that. Yeah. When I review numbers with clients too, I always go over the payment and I say, how does that payment look to you?
Yes.
I always ask them that, and sometimes they're overwhelmed, like, oh, that's a lot higher than I know. What is your budget? And then we go backwards and figure out what that is.
Work it backwards, totally.
Right. Yeah. It's really important to make sure that they're okay with the payment. Yep. Okay. All right. So now we're in the home stretch, the fun part. I think it's fun. Let's see. One thing you wish your clients knew or understood before making an offer.
Something I wish that clients understood before they made their offer was the bigger picture. And I'm speaking about this really from experience that I'm having right now. The bigger picture of what's happening on both sides. I think sometimes buyers will look at an offer and say, well, this house is only worth this much. And I have to keep reminding them, this house is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it. So if it's only worth this much to you, that does not mean that that's what it's worth to the buyer or to the seller, nor does it mean that's what it's worth potentially to another buyer. And so I think sometimes buyers can get really caught up in this idea that like this house is only worth this much, and they have almost a critical mindset of the seller. And sometimes the seller is a little, they can be unrealistic for sure. But I am noticing right now, I'm something I'm encouraging my buyers to think about is, hey, if this house isn't worth it for you, totally fair. Like I'm not going to push you on that.
Right.
And I need you to understand that if the seller does not agree, they're the one who own the home. They do not have to sell us the house. Right. And number two, if another buyer thinks it is worth more, then that is also true, right? And I think it's so good. It's so good. It's a hard. A home is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it, and that buyer might not be you.
Right.
So, again, the market is what it is right now. We've got buyers who want deals, and so they're offering very, very low, and they're getting disappointed. And we have sellers who are pricing way too high. We have both things happening, but I wish that there was more of a holistic view of what's happening on both sides honestly for buyers and sellers, so that they can really understand and get out of their own way.
And do you talk about that with them?
Like, I do. Okay. I do. Yeah. And I many truths can be true at once. And one of those truths is, if this home isn't worth it for you, I respect that. But at the end of the day, the only way that we can really determine value is what the home ends up actually selling for. And I had that conversation with sellers as well. A home is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it. So even if you think it's worth this much, if the market is not echoing that sentiment, then that's not worth what the house is worth.
Side question on if you're listing a home, is it more common for you to see a seller thinking their house is worth more than the market value?
Yes, especially in this market, especially here. Because a lot of the Zillow and Redfin prices are a lot higher.
Right.
So people have that number in their head before they meet with me, but Zillow and Redfin don't take into consideration your upgrades, the cleanliness of the home, the condition, whether or not the home that sold down the street was perfectly staged and was vacant, right? There's a lot of things that go into how well a house, the experience of showing a home is. So yeah, sometimes, and that's a discussion that when I have with my clients, with the sellers, I have to ask that question. Well, like, what was the number you had in mind? And then I can show them the data and then say, now seeing this data, how do you feel? Or what does this look, how does this feel for you? And usually that's how the discussion an honest discussion can really happen.
I almost feel like you guys you're almost like a therapist.
Oh, Julie, yes. Home buying is one of the most primal experiences. You are dealing with death, divorce, babies, family moving in, and finances, right? And so when people, I just had a client the other day who was like, I don't want you to become my therapist. And I said, lay it on me. I'm an actor, baby. Like, bring it on. I can handle emotions. I got them myself. I'll cry with you. You know, there's a lot that goes into that. But I think when people think that this is going to be a cut and dry transaction, I go, oh, you are in for a ride. It's so different.
So good. Okay. Do you have a money tip that you live by right now? You talked about your investing in your 401k, but is there anything else that you can think of?
I listened to a podcaster. His name is Ramit Sethi, and he's incredible. His whole theory is, what is your rich life? And that is something that I have gotten really specific about. And part of that process was learning that the home that we had bought was not part of our rich life. Your rich life is going to look very different than my rich life. And so I've gotten really clear about, he calls them money dials. What are the things that you like to turn up the dial of spending on, like that brings you a lot of joy? For me, I love a beautiful restaurant, like a really nice, stunning restaurant with incredible food. I will pay for a nice restaurant experience. But when it comes to like eating fast food, or if it comes to, for me, going to concerts is not a money dial for me, but that's hundreds of dollars. So when I have friends who are going to a concert say, do you want to go? I go, like, is that a money? No, it's not. It's not on the dial for me. And so I've just gotten very clear about my dials are going to be different than others. I like to spend on my fitness. I like to spend on my coaching, like who I bring in to coach me, my personal trainer, my vocal coach, like all these things. I know that there are certain areas that I really value, and getting very clear about what yours are versus what others are is going to help you make decisions about what and how you spend in a much more calm and non-judgmental way.
Right. It sounds like it's going to bring more joy to your life too.
Agreed.
You're doing the things that make you happy.
Completely.
Yeah, I
Completely
love that.
agreed. Yeah. So
I'm going to try that.
Please do. And his podcasts he brings couples on to talk about their finances, which a lot of people don't talk about that until they're doing something like buying a house. But it's been something that now my husband and I look at each other and we go, is it worth it? Like, is that worth if we take that $500 away and put it towards, a concert, or it could be a flight. It could be a flight to New York or something.
You love to travel too.
I love to travel. So then I kind of go, no, so it's a good exercise.
Yeah. I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So your must-have kitchen appliance or household item that you can't live without right now.
This is going to be really dumb. So I need you to
like the
understand.
dumb ones.
It is a rubber spatula.
Oh.
Have you ever gone to an Airbnb that doesn't have, it's just one of the ones that you use for baking that doesn't have a rubber spatula? I can't make eggs. I can't stir things. It is like my number one, whenever we move, I'm like, where's the spatula? It is my number one thing.
You take it with you.
Oh, it moves from place to place. And now, yes, we pack it. If we are traveling and going to an Airbnb.
Like London, no matter what.
Rubber spatula. Just if we're staying in an Airbnb, if we're cooking, always. Always. 100%.
Okay. I have an Airbnb, so now I've got to check if we've got a spatula there.
I think I've been to your Airbnb, I think it does.
It does? Okay, thank God. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay. So what's the best way to balance wants versus needs when choosing a property?
It's a little bit like planning a wedding.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit like planning a wedding. You look at the stuff in the wedding and you go, what are the 3 things I absolutely cannot live without?
Okay.
And what are the things that I'm willing to spend on? It's a little bit like the money dials, right? If that's photography, if that's the food, and if that's your dress, then those are the 3 things. And the rest of it, you kind of let be what it is. I think homes are the same. So you look at a house and you go, what are the areas I absolutely cannot live without? The things I cannot live without. For me, it was, I wanted a lot of natural light. Can't live without it. I won't buy a house that's dark. I wanted a dining room because we were big hosters.
Okay.
And I wanted a updated enough kitchen, like a storage space, and kind of the updated enough. And those are the things that if I walked into a house and I said, yeah, this has what we need, that's great. Now I'm learning a little different. We also want a garage because we didn't have a covered garage in that place. So now I've learned that those things are important. But yeah, I would say look at the things, look at the life that you currently live. What are the things that really bug you about the place you are currently in? So if you're renting a place and there's not enough storage, what's the stuff that takes up brain space that you think about, like, if I only had that one thing? That's usually the thing that's going to stick in your brain. And once you have a list of that stuff, start to drill down into the really important things that you're like, I would actually sacrifice something else. I would trade that to have this. It's a constant question of what are the trades.
Right. So are you saying like 2 or 3 things? Or
I say 3.
3 things. Okay.
I say 3. And location is part of that, but I feel like that's a bigger umbrella thing. Like if you have 3 locations that you are focusing on, I think that is not part of this equation. I'm talking about the house itself.
Okay. I love that. Okay. All right. How can buyers evaluate whether a neighborhood will still be a good fit for them in the future?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is such a great question. I was just having this discussion with a client yesterday, actually. First and foremost, I think that you need to have a clear idea of what your life looks like now.
Okay.
How your life currently is set up now. So if you are a big restaurant person, a person who loves to hike, if you need to have easy access to the airport, right? Whatever those things kind of look like for you, I think you need to be very clear on that. But then number 2, if you know what your plans are, we're having kids, or I'm planning on tripling my business and I need to work, it would be cool to work out of the garage, right? Whatever those things sound like, I think that will help determine whether or not the area and the home will be good for you later. That said, I don't recommend that people look at selling their home before 7 years if you want to be really safe.
Okay.
Yes. And yes, you can say 5, but I have clients who bought in 2020 and 2021 and are looking at selling now, and it's not the market has not done for them what they are hoping, what they wished it had done. Their interest rate is great, but the price they paid was very different.
Right.
And so I think if you're looking at it in the long run, number one, you're looking at what's the lifestyle I have now that is the pieces that are really important to me. What are my goals for the future? The things that I know are going to happen. Again, kids, family moving in, whatever. And then number three, looking at the area, what is the potential for this area? Of course, if it's an area that's already pretty, populated and kind of has the schools and the whatever, that's great. But I'm also looking at things like, is there going to be a light rail here? Is there going to be something that brings in more businesses? Is there going to be a company that's coming in? Like when we had, I think it was Blue Origin that went down in the South, and the question was, is this going to bring more people, more stuff, more restaurants, more whatever? And I think if that stuff is important to you, it's smart to look at those things. But I would still, I don't love to bank just on potential. I want to bank on what I want my life to look like.
Well, when I think about you, because now you're in a beautiful condo with a beautiful view, and you can walk to places.
Yes.
Do you walk to bar? When you
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just walked this morning. I just taught
How
this
fun
morning.
is that?
I know.
Like, you're
walked to my
happy.
berries class. I walked to my bar class. We walked to go get dinner, coffee. It's the grocery store. It's like Europe.
So if you enjoy that today, you shouldn't be buying in suburbia.
Well, and that's what I learned. And that's what I learned.
Now you're
and
back.
and now I'm back.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think some people know they're ready for that.
Right.
When I thought about leaving what I had, I did not feel a sense of relief. I felt like it would be a sacrifice.
Right.
And I just hoped that the sacrifice was worth it. And that is where I think we can get a little stuck. Because sometimes it is. Sometimes you move in and you go, actually, I'm a farm girl and this is great.
Right.
But I found that that's been less the case in my time in real estate.
I love that. Okay. How have buyers' priorities changed in the last few years? What do you see? Are people still seeking condos downtown or shifting towards single-family homes, wanting more space?
Man, I wish they were shifting more towards condos. I got to be honest. I love Seattle downtown. I love that it's so walkable. I love that there's so much to do. I am biased because I live there. But no, I'm not seeing people move towards condos just yet. But I am seeing people get more comfortable with foregoing some square footage for proximity. That was something that really changed in the beginning of the pandemic, is a lot of people moved out to have, homesteads. Basically, they wanted a lot of space.
Out of condos.
Yeah, let's get as much space as we can. But what people found is they got very isolated.
Yes.
And so I am seeing people either move back and or get comfortable with trading. So people have really found that, since a lot of my clients, at least, I don't need 2,800 square feet. I would rather have 1,600, 1,800 with 2 or 3 bedrooms and be closer to schools, libraries, coffee shops, things to do. So I will say, though, people are very cognizant of functionality. So unlike a few years ago, people were buying whatever they could get in certain neighborhoods. And to me, they did not function for current society. The closets were so teeny, the kitchens made no sense in terms of layout. There was no flow. And now people are really focusing on that piece as well. It can be small, but it needs to be functional. And of course, you want your money to go to make sense for what you're buying. And we lost the plot on that a little bit in the beginning of the pandemic, I feel. But yeah, so people, they're not moving back to the city just yet. I wish they would, and I would welcome them back. And if you need a city guide, I've got some for you.
Right.
Restaurants galore.
Yeah.
But
everything.
I love it. But yeah, not just yet.
All right. If you had to make a prediction, what does Seattle real estate look like 5 years from now? 5 years. Where will we be? 2030. Whoa.
I am very hopeful. I don't know if it will be as soon as 5 years, but with some of the recent zoning changes, and I know that this is maybe a controversial topic, but I think some folks would prefer that we not develop lots to create more housing. My hope is that there is more opportunity for people to buy and live closer to all the things that there are to do in this city. And so, yes, that does mean more dadus. That means more multiple homes on one lot. And while I understand that in certain cases takes away some of the history, and it does. There are some incredibly large lots here in our area that I think it would just be a dream to have more housing options for people who live and work and are trying to take advantage of what our beautiful city is. So my hope is that with some of those zoning changes, we do see smart redevelopment. I don't love all of the kind of massive, cheap development that does sometimes happen with those changes, but I've been touring some really awesome daddies with some clients of mine, and they live just like small homes, but there's, 3 of them on one large lot, and they feel cute. It almost created a little community.
Like a cottage type feel?
Yes, cottages, like small communities. And I think that is so magical. It's not condo living, but it's not massive estate living, and it puts you right in the center of it all.
That's better than a condo, right?
Yes. Yeah. For me, that is what I hope.
Yeah,
that's what I hope.
And is that more affordable?
It is. It is.
What are those price
affordable.
points that you sell?
Well, I gotta say, they are still going for some single family home prices. So we were looking at around the 700,000 arena.
Okay. But there's no dues, HOA dues?
Like $20.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Small.
Okay.
But yeah, like 700, 800,000 kind of depending, but you get a beautiful new, well-constructed home.
Yep.
2, maybe 3 bedrooms. The one that we looked at was a 2-bed with an office with a great kitchen, beautiful large living area, and a small backyard. And it didn't feel like a tall, skinny townhome. It felt very functional. There's a lot of space. It felt like there was a lot of space.
2-story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just 2 stories, not 3.
I love that.
I know.
That's great.
I know.
Okay,
1,500 square feet or so. I think that's perfect.
That's amazing. So not the townhome effect.
No.
It's just 2 stories. I love
Yes, but again, it's a dadu. So people get a little thrown because it's now considered a condo.
Right.
And to me, I go, this is the way of the future. Like if we want more options here, it's going to be part of the development.
Right. Love that. You are such a multi-passionate person, Liz. Not only are you a real estate broker, but you're also a bar instructor. You're in such great shape, by the way. And you're an incredible podcast host. I love your podcast.
Thank you.
You're a coach. You're a speaker. Do you see these passions as separate lanes, or do they fuel each other in really like unexpected ways that you ever thought of?
Yeah, I think I used to see them as very separate.
Okay.
But again, I was trying to get into something that utilized my many skills, if you will. I think what I'm starting to realize is that as my brand continues to develop, my coaching, when I work with people more one-on-one or in group scenarios, is one thing. It's where I can kind of preach what I believe. And the way that I see people's presence and speaking skills and stage presence really coming out in their businesses. But then my speaking is where I get to perform. That's me on stage getting to enjoy my life and again, share, which I love, storytell. My podcast is another story. I'm sharing lessons. I want people to learn with me in real time. And I'm tackling topics that I think most people, but especially women, will have had an experience with. And then I get to put all of my work talking and sharing about that into practice in my real estate practice. So I see that all coming to life in a way. I don't know if I've quite gotten to the point where I can see them all as a perfect package, but I'm definitely getting there.
Yeah.
I think they're all underneath the umbrella.
Compliments. I mean, who you are. I mean, you're like the total package. You really, really are.
Thanks, Julie. I try really hard, if I'm honest.
You're born with it. You're one of those. Okay. All right. So here we go. If you could give one piece of advice to a first-time home buyer, what would that be?
Interview your agents.
Okay.
Interview your
What
agents.
questions would they ask?
You need to ask, number one, are you a full-time broker? Do not ask how long you've been in the industry. I think that is an overused question. The real question is, how many homes have you sold this year? Or what does your volume look like in the last year, maybe 2 years? Because you never know. If someone has been out for injury or pregnancy or anything like that, you never totally know. But I think that time in the industry, tenure does not equal expertise at this point.
That's 100%.
So asking what their volume looks like, asking if they have a team or some type of support, what their plan is for if they are not available when you'd like to show. And I suppose asking I think I would ask buyers to get very clear about what they would want the experience to feel like for them so that they know whether or not an agent can provide that. I'm very clear about this is the way that I work. If you don't want emojis in your text messages, I might not be the person for you, you know?
Me too.
Exactly. If you don't want a level of emotion with me, if you are looking for cut and dry transactional, I'm probably not your girl. But if you are looking for a different experience and this is what I can do for you, I will. That's the kind of people who I like to and end up working with. But I think it's really important that buyers know, because not every buyer knows what they want.
Right.
So the agent just kind of ends up guessing and throwing things at the wall and seeing if it sticks, and then the buyer doesn't have a good experience. Both people need to come to the table. But interview your agents.
That's so good. I love that. All right, wonderful. Where can people find you?
Yes.
I mean, you're incredible on social. I have so much fun watching you. The team does too.
Thank
I
you.
feel like I know more about you than you probably want me to know.
But that's the point of socials, right? I really believe that socials is where you can get to know me. It's a great way for people to find me and to understand who I am, how I work, how I talk.
Right.
So that they know that if we're going to vibe, I want us to vibe.
Right.
So you can find me on Instagram. I'm at liz.hake.
Okay.
Easy peasy. Same on TikTok, Liz_Hake, I think. I'm on YouTube as well, Liz Hake. Everything is all the same. So there's nothing different.
There's no other Liz Hake out there.
There's
right?
no other
Okay,
Liz.
good.
Actually, there is, and I do believe she crochets things, but I think she lives in the Midwest somewhere, and that's not me. My SEO is on point, so you'll find my website. If you Google me, it will be there. You can find me on my podcast. It's called Kind of a Bitch.
Yes, I love it.
So you can find me there. I'll share stories. Some of them are real estate related. Some of them are not. If you enjoy storytelling and learning, and disperse some science facts in there as well for growth and for mindset. But you can find me there as well.